Hello there. So, I'm talking about Shakeology. I find with my Wi-Fi, my live videos don't turn out very clear or very well. So I'm going to start doing videos on YouTube. And I wanted to create something that I can share with new Beachbody challengers when they get Shakeology. So you just know, or even before you get it, so you know a little bit about what it is. So I'm going to just say that when I first started Beachbody and got Shakeology, I was interested because I very much trust my coach, and she drinks it regularly and just has like lots of great things to say about it. But I was still skeptical, and that's just who I am. If I'm going to be putting something into my body and I'm going to be paying for it, I need to know it's actually worthwhile. And I have a hard time just taking someone's word on it, even if my Coach Char has gotten fantastic results in her journey. But I was so curious, like, what is this? Is it a protein powder? Is it a meal replacement? Is it, I don't know, like, is it a supplement? I really wasn't sure. So I started to do a bit of research. And I know the biggest thing that is talked about is that it does help you lose weight. And the hard part for me is that I am not motivated by losing weight. I have lost weight. I've lost 20 pounds. And part of that's been with drinking Shakeology. But that's just a side effect. That's not really what I do this for. It's not my end goal. It helps because it helps me be healthier, and that is my goal. My goal is to be healthier, but it's not necessarily enough to convince me. So, like, I know for exercise, it helps with your bone density, it helps with your muscle mass, it helps with, cardiovascular health, all that stuff. So I'm convinced there. So my first little bit of research, first I started asking around to other people who drank it and like, what makes you drink it? Why do you like it? The number one thing that came back is that it helps with cravings. So I thought, oh, does it actually? So I started drinking it. I played around. When I had a craving, I drank that instead of eating whatever I wanted. And it actually did work. For the most part, it worked to help with my cravings. So that is true. And they actually have done a study, Beachbody's done a study, and it has shown that compared to other shakes that are sort of similar, it does help with cravings. It also, they did another study and they showed that people who drank Shakeology ate a certain percentage less on with their next meal than other people did when they used a different kind of a shake. So that makes total sense. Then it would really work well for weight loss. So if that is your goal, you actually might already be convinced and you might not need any other reason. It does do that. So finally I did figure out, and again, I asked around, and there's little posters and stuff, and it talks a little bit about what it's about, but I'm kind of a nerd. I need to know deep, like what's in there. So, the first thing I learned as I started doing my research is that it is protein. Okay, so, and protein's helpful to when you're doing any kind of workout, especially if you're using your muscles, like you're doing any weightlifting, or even if you're not using weights, but you're basically, your muscles break down when you're working your muscles, and then they need to build back up. And protein does help your muscles build back up. And that's partly how we get like that definition. And the more muscle we get, the more fat we burn. So again, that's helpful for weight loss. So protein's good. I used to drink protein shakes, like just protein off the shelf from a store. When I was doing a weightlifting program in my 20s, I did something called Body for Life, and it did help me with my program. So protein, yes. Is it a meal replacement? So I did a little bit of checking. I looked, I've learned both programs, the Ultimate Portion Fix and the 2B Mindset program. And basically, it is a meal replacement if there's something else with it. So for instance, with 2B Mindset, in your breakfast, she recommends that you have half your plate is carbs and half your plate's protein. So for me, if I do this is my half a plate of protein and a banana, a whole banana, not a half a banana. That's my carb, my complex carb, or my fiber-filled carb. So now I have a complete meal. And I also add spinach. You don't need to. It does sometimes cut down on the sweetness. So that's helpful to know. So yeah, so it is a meal replacement if you add something else to it. So lunchtime, again, if you look at 2B mindset, and I talk about that one more just because I know it better, although it's quite similar to Ultimate Portion Fix. So for lunch in 2B mindset, half your plate should be veggies, a quarter should be protein, and a quarter should be your fiber-filled carbs. I can't talk. So again, I would use this as my quarter plate. I'm not sure, like, you know, is it a half a plate or anyway, it would work. And then my quarter plate carbs would be something like a half a banana or, you know, a half a cup of berries, that sort of thing. And then my veggies would be the spinach I add, or I'd have veggies on the side. Okay, so it can be a meal replacement. Is it a snack? Well, it can be a snack. So if I drink this on its own, it is a snack. And what I actually used to do when I was working full time, I would throw one of these in my lunch kit, and I would, not everybody likes it with just plain water. Vanilla is my favorite, by the way, vanilla and chocolate. But I would put it in my shaker cup. I'd fill my cup with water, and I would shake it, and I would just drink it like that. That was my snack. I have discovered about myself that about 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock p.m., I'm just really hungry and I need a snack. And so that's perfect for me. I share recipes with my new challengers, just like a PDF, you know, page with what I like. So one of them is, I think, a chocolate Shakeology, and there's some cinnamon and some vanilla. There might be something else, maybe some almond milk. Anyway, that would be also considered a snack. So, and on the recipes I've shared when it's a meal and when it's a snack. And you might have to play around with it a bit. And if you don't get it completely perfect, that's okay. So the short answer is yes, it's a meal replacement and it's a snack. Depends on what you put with it. So that was helpful. Okay, I understood that. I didn't mind the taste. I didn't love the taste, though, when I first started drinking it. I drank it because I felt it was good for me. I was motivated to just try it and see. I will say, it's funny, I hear people all the time, I hear coaches say, I love it. And I think, oh, like, really, do you love it? Like, because I didn't love it, but I actually love it now. I do. It's interesting. I love it way more than when I first started drinking it. And the thing I've learned as I've done some research is that your taste buds change. So I think I truly have had a change in taste buds. Now, when I first started helping challengers, when they started, I would say get vanilla. That was the one that I landed on that I seemed to like the best. And I had lots of different recipes I liked with the vanilla. So that's the one I recommended. One thing I learned, though not too long ago, is that just because I like vanilla does not mean that everybody else will like vanilla. We all have different taste buds. So what I do now, typically, unless someone knows what flavor they like for sure, I'll often recommend that people get the 3-pack, vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, because then you can decide for yourself. I was never a big strawberry fan. Didn't really like it at all to begin with. I tried adding different things to it, and I just had a challenger say to me, like, I just drank it and it's kind of gritty, and they just didn't like it. I typically actually just like it plain. I like to put ice and water in a blender with it, and that tends to be how I like that the best. But I've seen lots of posts where people love it with a banana or with berries. Lately I've been putting strawberries with it. I thought there was something else I tried not long ago and I didn't mind it. But anyway, so again, it's not my favorite, but I do like it now. I like it better than I used to, but I like it plain. The other thing to know about Shakeology is you can bake with it. So some people just don't like the taste, and maybe later on they will as their taste buds change. But there's all kinds of recipes that you can use to bake with it. So it's basically like you're using a low sugar, high protein kind of thing with lots of nutrients in your baking. So it makes your baking just a little bit healthier. And so I actually use my vanilla, that's what I have here right now, vanilla Shakeology in a pumpkin muffin recipe that I make. And the pumpkin muffins have like no sugar. Pumpkin is amazing for you. And so it took me a little while to get used to the pumpkin muffin texture and taste. What I finally found out though, as I was watching other people eat the muffins, is they put a little bit of almond butter. And if you're allergic to almond butter, maybe like use sun butter, something like that. But they put that on top and it makes a big difference, really big difference. And it's funny, like the smallest thing makes a big difference in the taste. Okay, so the other thing, so vanilla and chocolate, I've come to realize that I like them plain as well. I don't know if I'm strange. I don't know if a lot of people like them plain. I'll just put them in my shaker cup, again, ice and water, and shake them up, and then I go from there. If you have the 3-pack and you find a flavor you like, I'm going to recommend, if you order it again next time, buy the big bag, the 30 serving bag, because when you get these, you get 24 servings, but when you get the big bag, you get 30 servings. So you get more value. But that way you at least know you like the flavor because you've tried it out. What else can I say? One trick that I finally, again, I used to kind of like choke it down when I first started. And then when I joined Freedom Fitness and Beautiful Fitness Souls, the coaches started talking about the way they made it. Most often, they'll make it with a banana and spinach. And there's something about the spinach that cuts the flavor so that it's not so sweet. Because I think that's a pretty common complaint, is that it's too sweet. And adding berries often wrecks it. Like you often don't like the flavor when you add berries because it is already so sweet. You add berries and it makes it that much more sweet, and then it's just too much. Okay, so those are the things I learned about Shakeology. Then what happened is I started doing a little bit more research. I read a book called, and you'll hear me talk about this lots because this Fiber Fueled changed how I look at food. So it's called Fiber Fueled. It's written by a doctor, like a gut doctor, a gastroenterologist. And he also has a master's in research. So he's really good at interpreting research. I always get leery, so there's things like the keto diet and those kinds of things out there, but there's not necessarily really good research to back up the claims and for me to actually feel comfortable going that route. Well, this guy convinced me. Like, he talks about a plant-based diet, and he really encourages you to have, a 90% plant-based diet. I would say I'm maybe 60 to 80% plant-based. I still eat protein, and I probably will continue to, but huge difference. It's amazing, all the health benefits. Now, that's what motivates me. When it comes to health and how something's going to decrease memory problems or dementia, help with cardiovascular health, help with mental health like anxiety and all those kinds of things, help with focus, help with gut health. And actually your gut, he says it's considered your second brain. So there's lots that happens in your gut, and sometimes you'll get that gut feeling, right? You have emotions that you feel there. And our food really does affect how our gut functions, and our gut really affects how the rest of our body functions. So one of the things he really highly promotes is fiber. There's a lot of science behind it, and I'm not going to go into it in this video, but fiber is just, by the time I was done that book, I was convinced I have to increase my fiber. And not in the ways you would think. There's all kinds of ways to increase your fiber, and not the traditional, Metamucil or fiber cereals. And a lot of it, and he also recommends eating 30 different kinds of plant foods a week. I think that's what he says is the goal. And it's not necessarily about the quantity of plant-based foods you eat, it's more about the variety. So even if you're eating just a little bit of each, it's still helping. So, and his recipes are phenomenal. Now I got he stopped me up just a little bit because I was drinking Shakeology already and I was listening to this audiobook. He is very against supplements. So Shakeology is a supplement. I still honestly felt very good about Shakeology because I'm going to be honest, my diet is probably not as perfect as this doctor's diet. Like, I try hard, but we're all busy. We all have different things going on. And yeah, we might eat good, nutritious foods, 80% of the time on a good week, but I still feel like I'm missing something. And to add to that, missing something, often when we're not losing weight, it is because we're missing something. And often when we're not getting healthier, it's just we're missing something. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. The fact that this is high fiber and has probiotics and prebiotics, which are all things that he talked about in his book, I actually was sold on Shakeology after I read that part and learned that part about fiber and probiotics and prebiotics. And it's just supposed to help with digestion and energy. So the other thing about this is that it is whole foods. And again, we're often missing whole foods in our diet. And if you're a busy person and you have a lot going on in your life and you're not able to get the proper nutrition that is going to help your body, this is a fantastic way, from my perspective, to get some optimal nutrition into your diet. For me, I didn't start off with thinking about nutrition. When I started my wellness journey, I started off with fitness because I needed bite-sized pieces. I could not focus on both. Things were too busy. I was working full-time, a lot of stressors. And so for me, all I did was focus on fitness and water. Like one habit at a time. Be easy on yourself. Some people like to go all in and do the food thing and the fitness. I finally got fitness as part of my consistent routine where it didn't feel like as big of an effort anymore. I was able to fit it in more. And then I decided, okay, now I'm going to look at nutrition. So in the meantime, I was still drinking Shakeology. So even though the rest of my diet wasn't great, it was maybe okay sometimes, this helped it be better. So another piece of research I did was I've been listening to different videos that have been created by Beachbody teams. And one of the videos that I watched was the creator of this. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember her name now. Isabel. She has a hyphenated name, Isabel something Deichler. She's actually Carl Deichler's wife. He's the CEO of Beachbody. So, I mean, you wonder, right? And again, I'm skeptical. So I think of all these things what's that mean? But anyway, she came on to one of the videos and she had a really interesting story. I think she was something, and I'm not going to get all the details right. I can send you the whole video if you're interested. But basically, she is I think she was a physical therapist or athletic therapist. She was something like that. And so she had a lot of, really her lifestyle was really healthy. And somewhere in her 20s, she suddenly was afflicted with some kind of condition where she lost all her energy. She stopped being able to move, like walk, mobilize. It was quite drastic. And she kept going to doctors. And she kept getting told, nothing's wrong with you. It's all in your head. Don't know what it is. I can't help you. So she was hopeless. She had nothing to help her. So she did a lot of her own research and she started researching different foods. And so then she started to put a lot of these foods into her diet. And over time, she healed herself. And after reading Fiber Fueled, I can see how that can be. Food is amazing. We say that food is medicine, food is fuel, right? It's more than just something to fill your stomach. And make you gain weight or make you grow when you're a teenager and you need those calories. Food is medicine if we are putting the right foods into our body. So she healed herself and she actually started walking again. Like she got to a really good place. So basically what ended up happening is she created a shake using ingredients. For her, it was really important. I haven't necessarily jumped on the organic bandwagon yet. Maybe I will someday after I do more research, but it was important to her that the foods be organic, that they be whole foods, not just little portions, because we can pull little micro minerals, nutrients, etc. out of foods and put them in a vitamin, but if it's not a whole food, you're not necessarily getting the benefit. So it was important that for her it was whole foods, that they were things that were healthy. So she created this shake and she took it to a company, and the company said, yes, great, let's do this. But then they wanted to take shortcuts because the shake that she created was too expensive to create. And they didn't want to produce an expensive shake. They wanted to get something cost effective. And she would not budge. She took it to another company. I'm not sure how many companies she took it to, but they all wanted to compromise the ingredients. So finally, and I don't know if she met Carl in the process of them becoming a couple or how that worked, but he agreed to make the shake and he agreed not to take shortcuts. So they have a guy, Darren, I can't remember his last name. He is one of the ones on the team that helps source the ingredients, and they're very strict with whatever companies they work with that source the ingredients. So that's partly why it is as pricey as it is. They just have really, really high standards, and he agreed not to take shortcuts on the shake. So hearing that story helped me too. It makes me feel better about drinking it. Yeah. So those are the things that help convince me that I want this in my life and I want it in my life daily. I did actually stop drinking it for a week just to see if anything would change. I got super grumpy. I mean, honestly, I still have grumpy days when I'm when I'm drinking Shakeology. We all do. But there's this internal irritability. Now, one thing that's interesting that they say is in here is adaptogens. And I wasn't sure what adaptogens were. So I looked it up. Adaptogens help you like metabolize, not metabolize. They help you basically get rid of stress. So I don't know, like, was it just a coincidence? I'm going to do it again where I stop for a week. I just want to see. I was having more cravings for sure. Yeah, it was pretty wild. It's been a while. Like I say, I'm gonna do it again. Anyway, that is the reason that I like Shakeology and why I think it's a good thing to take. I needed to really know how I felt about it before I would encourage others to drink it. It's a very personal decision. I mean, you're spending $135 a month if you have the discount. At the same time, for me, it's, my breakfast is $3 a day or $4 a day because this is what I drink basically for breakfast every day. And so I'm not sure I would spend much more on or less on breakfast if I didn't have it. And it's helping with my health. And yeah, there is more I want to share about it because I would like to share about the different ingredients that are in there. They do talk about, there's a lot of things in there that are antioxidants. There are phytonutrients, and phytonutrients are amazing for gut health, different things like that. So anyway, I will stop for now. I just wanted to share that piece, and let us know if you have any questions. If I'm not your coach, then let your coach know if you have any questions. Let your coach know if you would like to try different recipes. And if you're really not loving it, it could be that you just need a different combination in your shake. And again, and in Fiber Fueled, he talks about this. When he went on a plant-based diet, he used to eat lots of takeout and steaks and all that kind of stuff. His girlfriend at the time was vegan, and he couldn't understand how she could eat like that. Well, after several years or months, I'm not sure, of being completely plant-based or majority plant-based, he went to have a steak one night because he'd had a really, really tough shift at the hospital and he didn't like it. His taste buds had changed. So it's a real thing. Not just because he says so, but it does happen. So anyway, have a great day.